Yeah, of course we start with the space gun. All right, guys, I've got Marin here. He's actually the second person that's asked me this week about how to take better shots while standing. So I'm a MECIA instructor under IPSC, usually with the space gun. But the same principles happen when whether you're shooting with this or using a bolt action rifle. I'm going to show you with this one, and Marin's going to grab the bolt action. But essentially, the basic principle is we want to be facing our target. So if we've got a target down there, we want to look down there. And it's kind of like most of your sports. If you're going to face towards the target, that's probably where it's going to go. If you're playing tennis or something like that, you're facing down court, down range. So getting your eye into a position is best practiced with dry fire. So one of the things we do in the MECIA stuff is we start up high like this. Obviously we're still flagged and we have a huge berm. But as we then come down onto the target, that's how we build up our position really nice and smoothly. What happens quite a lot with hunters is you start down from almost like a low ready position, and you're then trying to build it up like that. Getting your cheek position can become like not as consistent, but also when you've got a heavier gun, you're running a suppressor out the front, and you start to struggle with your breathing. When I'm out hunting, I tend to start, depending on my position or what I've got as a backstop, I'll start with my bolt to the rear, I'll come up into here, I'll get my cheek well, and I start my breathing process. And then as I'm doing my breathing out, I'm coming in, I drop my bolt down, and I'm onto the target, bang, animal's dead. And that way I'm not having to hold the gun up in free air. It's not really working. If you grab this one here, I'll have a bit of a play with that. So we start with the bolt to the rear, and it's going to feel a little bit weird. So you're sitting up a little bit higher. Yep. All right, you've got the classic kind of Kiwi, kind of old school World War I style shooting position where you're quite bladed.
Yep.
More modern style shooting now, we face towards the target. So bring that right foot forward. And left foot back, yep, there we go. Feels a bit weird,
yep.
But what we want is the gun to sit onto your chest more, so your head's more upright and you're not as tilted over.
Yep.
Feel a bit different, and it's going to help with your recoil management as well, and you kind of lean into it as well. So now as you start to do your breathing there, holding it out like that's going to get quite hard. So bring it up to the top, you've got the bolt to the rear, so it doesn't matter. And now start thinking about your breathing, and this is going to pull it onto your cheek well really nicely, and you can practice this at home in the living room and no one's going to think you're too weird. So as you start your breathing process, as you're breathing out, kind of drop down onto that target and then run the bolt forward at the same time.
Yeah,
and that's the basic principles of being able to get that breathing in. What you want is you to be coming down and getting it within the first couple of... Yeah, it's hard to feel. Yeah. But you want to get in the first couple of breaths, because if you're getting to a point where you're starting to shake from holding your breath, your vision's already long gone. And I have hunters come to me all the time saying, hey, I had a little bit of a wobble from holding my breath. I don't know how I missed a deer at 20 meters. It was your brain's playing autocorrect. You're starving it of oxygen, you'll never hit anything. You've got to keep breathing. That position's looking really good there.
That would have been hit.
A few practices like that, and we'll be mint. I'll steal that mag for a second, we'll do a live fire. So 22 LR, guys, is my favorite one for doing all four forms of training. It's such a little caliber. It's the same principles that we're going to use in the large rifles, but it's cheap, it's economical, and what is it, 150-ish bucks for 500 rounds? That's a lot of trigger time and a lot of practice. So you might as well get into it. I know a lot of people like to think it's a kind of a kid's caliber, and 22s are only good for shooting out about 20 meters. We teach every day out here. We have almost every tourist, every new shooter shooting out to 200 meters. We pair it with a really good scope, same optics that we use in competition, same optics that we use out at hunting, and we teach exactly the same principles as what you'd do for hunting out to 400-500 meters. All right, there's a mag. Obviously now we're live. Just be a bit more careful of the berm height. So as you're dropping down, that's when you put the bolt forward. And we're being nasty. We've got a target out at 100 meters with the 22. So just dial up to 2.4 on that scope. That one there. Cool. So we've got 240 millimeters of drop here, but by dialing up our 2.4 MRAD, he's going to be bang on, hopefully at 100 meters. No pressure.
I still want to turn, eh?
It feels weird the first few times, but once you get the hang of it, yep, and then run that bolt forward as you come down, bang, straight on at 100 meters. So it is doable. It's not actually that hard to do a standing shot. You just need to do a little bit of dry fire practice. He missed that one. I'm not cutting that out. There we go, nice clean hit there. But what you guys are going to notice is his head position is coming into the same spot every single time. And that's what we want, consistency. It's just like when you watch someone doing archery. It's really evident when they do it because they're coming back and you're seeing them get to the same part in their cheek every time. Shooting exactly the same. He's just absolutely obliterating this now. You should have seen the possums he missed the other night standing. You can't hear me, can you?
What?
Perfect.